Hello, it's Michael Watts here, and welcome to Guitar.com Live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big one. My guests today have gathered to celebrate the launch of a new record by one of the music industry's leading drummers, Cindy Blackman Santana. And she's put together quite a cast of collaborators for this record, three of whom are joining us right now. From Staten Island, New York, we have Mr. Vernon Reid. Mr. John McLaughlin joins us from Monaco, and next to Cindy, Mr. Carlos Santana. Before we begin, I would first of all like to thank everybody at PRS Guitars for making this call possible. Here we go.
Hey!
Couple on top the cake. What's up?
Hey, Mr. B, what's up, Bernie?
Burning. Hey, man.
Just call me Burnt Burn. That's it.
Burn.
Oh my God. Two people. You guys. It's so deep. No, I mean, you know, a lot of times when people say that, it's kind of hyperbole. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But these two people have met. I mean, I don't want to get choked up because that's like weird. But but these two people mean a lot to me, for real. Aside from the fact that they're extraordinary artists, like that man there, hearing his guitar, that is started me on my journey, right? That hearing Black Magic Woman from Abraxas.
Me too.
Was, you know what I mean? It's crazy, right? And then with Cindy, it's funny how we kind of, it was almost inevitable that we were gonna play together, right? But I remember when Cindy would play on the street with high heels and whatnot, and big old shades, and just wear the drums out. I was like, she must think she's somebody. She playing like she thinks she's somebody. I mean, you know, and it's just when you know,
There he is.
My other sensei shows up.
Here we are.
Hey, there he is.
Hey.
Good evening,
Hey.
John.
Hi.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Can you hear me?
Wow.
Oh, look at you guys. So sweet.
Thank you.
A million miles away. But not really.
Not really.
Really?
No, you.
All right here.
I can just sit here and be a total fanboy. I tell
Is this
you.
Michael?
Me too. Hello, everybody. I should start by introducing myself.
Oh.
First of all, because it's kind of my duty to sadly impose some sort of structure.
Good luck. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you. To what's about to happen. We are here basically to talk about the release of Cindy's record.
Cindy's album.
Absolutely. So that's where I'd like to begin the process, speaking with you, Cindy, directly, and then as we carry on, we'll bring you gentlemen in as well. What I'd like to suggest is that we look at a couple of tracks specifically on the record, Cindy, where you chose a collaborator who just happens to have joined us this evening, and you talk a little bit about the process there.
This is a nice way to do promo, isn't it? I get to see my dear ones. Oh, so nice.
We do.
I haven't seen him. Michael, I haven't seen him in a long time, and I missed him. So great.
We missed
Why
it
don't you
too.
do this more often? I mean, this is technology of today, right?
Yes. We
I
can
mean,
use
if
it.
I was like 50 years younger, I'd probably be using it every day. But he was still 29, but you know, inside only.
Inside only.
Is everybody comfortable, first of all? Do you need, has everybody got whatever they need? Glass of water, cup of coffee,
Yeah,
anything like that?
now
Yeah?
I wish I had some coffee.
Water.
I wish I could give you some of mine, Vernon, but it's a little bit far. Cindy, congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
creation of this this milestone record. The title, "Give the Drummer Some," is I'd say it's pretty typical of you because it's fiery. There's a lot of humor. There's a lot of life going on there, and you have chosen to bring in some extraordinary collaborators. Obviously, we've got Mr. Vernon Reid, Mr. John McLaughlin, and Mr. Carlos Santana with us today as well. How did you choose the which collaborator to go with which song? Did you have a specific energy in mind?
Energy was in mind, but in terms of songs, that happened very organically, and each song just gravitated to each person, you know. Some of it came as a result of just, being in the studio and being together and playing and coming up with ideas. And, some things came with, matching this with that person. And, it was very magnetic and organic in the process. And it just kind of came together and became this whole cohesive story.
Many of the viewers will be familiar with your musical voice as a drummer. This is our first opportunity to enjoy your talents as a singer.
Yeah. It's wonderful to express. John, it's one. I love these people so much. I hope I get through this interview without gushing and giggling, but the whole time.
I hope you don't, please.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get. Okay, I'll let it roll because I can't help it. I'm smiling from ear to ear, inside and out right now. You don't even know. But singing is, huh?
I'm with you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, John. I appreciate the support.
We'll get through this thing together.
And the camaraderie. Yes. Singing is very interesting because, drums, they're not melodic instruments, they're percussive instruments. Though you can tune them and play them melodically, they're not typically melodic instruments. So to sing and to be able to deliver a melody is a beautiful way to express, because I love harmony and melody. I love hearing, certain notes over chords and the way that's all done. It's just an amazing textural dynamic of sound and vibration.
The lyrics too.
Lyrics too, yeah, lyrics. Yes, John, thank you, because that lyrics really deliver a message to people that you can really grasp. So all of that, yes, is a great way to reach people and to express. But it's very daunting because even in the studio and recording, when I had to obviously come from behind the drum set and just stand at a microphone, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm naked. I'm just out here and where's my spaceship? Where's my protection? I'm a little shy, so I like being behind a drum kit. It's my armor, but I don't have it right now. Oh no. It's a little bit daunting.
In other interviews that I've seen with you, you've spoken that you do sort of approach the drums in a melodic kind of way. You do have a melodic sensibility when it comes to your playing. I would say that you also approach the delivery of a lyric with the same precision that you do with percussion.
Well, thank you for that. One thing that I will never forget is I used to hang with Art Blakey all the time, and I babysat for his children. So I was at his house every day. And one day, and many days, we just sat down and he would just tell me stories. And this one day, he was talking about different singers, coincidentally. And he was talking about this person is great because of that. This person is great because of that. And he said, and Billie Holiday, she's my favorite. You know why? And I said, why? And he said, because of her delivery. And I never forgot that, And so in doing these songs, I thought, well, I'm a novice here, but if I can just deliver it in a way that it gets the feeling and the emotion across, then I'll be happy.
Let's take a look at the first track, John Lennon's Imagine, played hard. That's that's quite a statement of intent to start a record with.
It is, and I love it because it's such a poignant message, and unbeknownst to us, this message was going to become even more important in this period that we're going through right now. I mean, we recorded the music for the record way prior to this COVID situation or any kind of lockdown thing happening. But it's right in step with the flow of what's happening worldwide, globally, so I'm really happy. And the only thing, that I wanted to do with that song was just do it in a different way, than, in all due respect to all the versions that I've heard before. But, I wanted to do it in more of a rock funk kind of thing, and then when Carlos came in with that first note, even, it just took the song up levels and notches. So, to me, I'm really happy with the way it came out. I couldn't be happier.
The second track that I wanted to talk about, We Came to Play. That's serious.
Yeah.
Some sort of heavy, almost surf kind of groove in parts. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And that, of course, features John McLaughlin, who's with us tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Carlos and I would like to take rides and listen to sequences that we both come up with. And so we kept vacillating between Imagine starting and We Came to Play starting, because We Came to Play is such a powerhouse. So for a while that was a starter, but Imagine won over because of the message of the song, and because of I love the intro that Carlos gave, and the message of that whole song we love. But when we get into We Came to Play, that thing hits so hard, and John is playing so incredibly. It's like just this wall of music and wall of expression and innovation and just energy, but without being something that just is offensive. It's just an energy that you just welcome. So that song, whoo, that's a heavy hitting. Yeah,
it's not aggressive, but it's powerful.
Oh, it's aggressive too, but it's aggressive too. It's powerful, but it's also got a calmness to it, because of everybody's demeanor, because no matter, John is so great, that no matter how ferocious he plays, he still has that sense of peace within the notes. And that came through. And Matt Garrison, same thing. He's a powerhouse bass player, but he's got this chordal conception and this touch on the bass that no matter how hard he's digging in, you still feel like, there's a bed here and this is wonderful, So, that's what we have. And then we got Neil Evans adding the beautiful padding and support, underneath everything. And this song is just, it's amazing.
Could I just make a little interjection? Could you replace aggression with the word passion?
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go.
Because I think that Cindy and Carlos and I and Vernon and basically all the guys, Matthew, we grew up with music in the 60s and 70s, which was full of passion. And that's the landmark. And it's in a way, I regret the way some modes of jazz have gone, where it's this kind of smooth jazz, where you play it in a bistro and people just talk over it. They don't listen anymore. And this passion is so important to music. It's what brings the music to life. It's the life, actually, of us playing. And I would say just one thing that I really love about that piece, the way it turned out, which I think organically is the right word. We, in a way, it's almost like this an Indian classical setup where you have percussion and you have the other instrument, the lead instrument, and the lead instrument plays, and then there's a kind of motive or riff, and then give the drummer a song.
Yeah.
And then moves back into the other instrument, and they goes. So there's this dialogue going on through the whole tune. I love the way it turned out. And as you say, Sandy, it was just organic from start to finish. And I love what Matthew did. He's just like growling in the basement.
Yeah.
You said that a lot of these recordings happened pre-lockdown. Does that mean that you were actually together when this happened?
Some of it we were together for, and some of it we did layering. You know,
Right.
so some of it we weren't able to be together for just because of space and distance. You know, and touring. At that time, everybody was on tour and busy. So, you know, we did the best that we could in order to be together as much as possible. But the stuff that's together in the studio and the stuff that has got some layering on top are not, there's no differentiation because they're all so cohesive. And that's because every single person, and that's why I said I'm going to be gushing and, you know, smiling, you know, really big, because every single person who played on this gave all of their heart, all of their attention, and all of their love to every note, every space. You know, it's just so, I just really couldn't be happier with everything that every single person did. It's just so amazing.
Can I make a little point here, Michael? The thing is, yeah, it's like, you know, sometimes we were 12,000 kilometers away from each other. But, you know, I'd be at home and I put the headphones on and I hear Cindy's drums playing and I close my eyes, she's there. And we're there. There's no, okay. Yeah, in a way, you miss the physical presence, but if you hear one of your favorite musicians in your head playing and you have the opportunity to play with, for me, the distance disappears. It's just like you're there together in the same room, but the room is inside your mind. That's all.
Yes.
But you're together. There's no, I mean, how can you not be together? And it's, in a way, I know that people say, yeah, well, it's distance, it's not live. I mean, if it's not live, what is it? It's not dead, is it?
It's not dead, no.
As I say, for me, this record, it's full of life and passion. And I think one of the tracks that perhaps most defines that would be Everybody's Dancing, which together with yourself, Carlos.
I was driving around with Jim Reisful, who is the right-hand man to Narada Michael Walden. And I said, you know, even before this stuff happened with the Corona thing, I said, I think the world, I'm always thinking that the world needs a big hug, you know, unity and harmony and a melody to bring it all together. You know, when I hear John playing in a silent way, you know, it's so pure, it's so honest and true. And when you listen to the way Joe Sawinul and Miles, but the way John played it, then for me, melody is supreme. You know, I love that, you know, John McLaughlin and John and Herbie and Wayne and Miles are like mega genius, harmonic geniuses. They know chords, man. They hear stuff inside of this and inside of that. However, the melody, like Cindy was saying, the melody that Billie Holiday presents, somehow people forget that they're Irish or Mexican or Jewish. All of a sudden, we all become naked spirit in the light. And that's what's missing in this planet. I think everybody's dancing. To me, I see in a living room, grandparents, parents, teenagers, little children, and they're all close their eyes and they're dancing. And there's no, like John says, there's no distance, there's no separation. Why? Because the frequency of fear disappears, you know? So when everybody's dancing, it's like a dog shakes water. You shake off fear and doubt. And you know, one of the songs that I cannot relate to at all in this planet is Amazing Grace, because I don't relate to anyone being a wretched anything. You know, I think that what God created is perfection, and there's a certain beauty. So, you know, for me, hearing Cindy's voice, and it started off being in the car with her, and I'm telling you the truth. I get in the car, and she'll play like the quintet, Miles, Wayne, Herbie, Ron, Tony, you know, all of them songs, you know. And what's amazing to me, I'm driving, and she's singing all the parts. She's singing Miles' parts, Wayne's parts, Herbie's parts, Tony's parts. Right? I'm like turning around like, man, you know. But the beautiful thing about it is that her voice is like Diana Ross champagne. You know, there's certain singers who have a certain, like I call it champagne. It's a sparkly voice, you know, and it's an innocence that is, again, purity and innocence is something that we all need to go back to inside ourselves, because that's what creates miracles and blessings. This particular CD, I look at it like an amusement park, and each song is a ride that you can take, and when you come back when the song is fading, you enjoy the ride. You know, I am so grateful to be part of this ministry with John and Vernon and Kirk Hammett, because guitar players to me,
Brothers.
yes, brothers, you know, this ministry of strings, man, you know, what if you say, oh, you pull my heartstrings, you know, when people say that, it means you got them. Like John Lee Hooker says, if you just listen, or Huey Blake says, if you just listen, I got you, you know? And it's not arrogance, it's a certain confidence that I learned from watching Armando Peraza and John and Tony Williams. It's important for a musician, Vernon Reid, all the musicians that I love, they have confidence in their spirit. So when they play whatever gets in front of them, man, you know, it's a big part of eternity. They turn a moment in an instant into an eternity. I will always be in awe at Slugs when I first heard John and Larry Young, Kalia sing, and Tony Williams. I have yet to hear anything near that dimension of passion, fire, and intensity. I was like, damn. You know, and most people would have been intimidated. I just went home and I was like, wow, damn. You know, because the sheer creativity, stopping on a dime, boom, 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 and John is like the wah wah pedal sound like it's going like it's chewing gum, and I'm like, damn, this is like, okay, Led Zeppelin, okay, Jimi Hendrix, okay, Cream, but damn, this thing in here, and that's what's important. That this ministry continues with the new youngsters. That's what's important. So this CD, Give the Drummer Some, it's like a bridge to get people back to playing real instruments and real music and have fun. Because John knows and I know you can be all of that musicality and still get on the radio. You know, we just have to convince certain people to play it. Because if you play John's music, Vernon knows, you know, Living Color, you know, our music can go on the radio. You just have to play it. If you play it 4 times, young people will go, hey, I want to hear that back. What was that? You know? So to me, this is an invitation with Cindy to get the masses, the 4 corners of the world, to open your heart and realize that you have more inside you than you give yourself credit to.
I mean, for me, since forever, guitars and drums, they go together. That's
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Guitar and drums, you know, you think about Jimmy with Mitch Mitchell, you know, or Jimmy, you know, with Buddy, you know, and how different their different approaches, and how Jimmy was flowed differently, you know what I mean, with Buddy Miles than he did with Mitch Mitchell.
Oh, yes.
But it was beautiful, you know what I mean? And I mean, I think about, you know, Alan with Tony and John with Tony, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, John with Billy, you know, I mean, so all of those connections are so powerful.
There's obviously a story with the track I Need a Drummer.
I want to hear that story my damn self.
Everybody needs Mike.
Yeah, there is. I was in the studio with Narda, and he had a phone call. So I was just sitting in there, waiting on him to come so we could continue with our writing session. And I was looking at this beautiful picture that he has of Prince on the wall. And so when he came back, I just commented how amazing that picture of Prince is. It's from a live concert where he's playing, and he's kind of bent over, and you can see the expression and the sweat and just the intention, So we were talking about that, and then we started trading Prince stories. And I started telling him about this time when I was on the road with Lenny Kravitz, and we played in Minneapolis. And after our show, we went to Paisley Park, and Prince invited us in, and we had a jam session with him. So he was kind of dancing around. He wasn't playing at first. He was dancing, and all around the room, and all of us were playing and hitting, and it was a slamming session. And after a while, he went over to the organ, and he started playing organ, and then he started singing, and the organ was right across from where I was, and he kept looking at me, and he was saying, "I need a drummer! I need a drummer! I need a drummer!" And I'm like, whoa, is Prince trying to change his drummer? What's happening?
I'm right here.
What's going on? I don't know, but we kept playing and hitting. And I said to the bass player, Jack, I said, "Man, did you hear Prince?" I said, "He was yelling. He was like, 'I need a drummer.'" He kept saying that. And he was looking at me, kept saying that. And he says, "I couldn't hear anything because Prince didn't have a mic, and Jack was kind of, Jack was on the other side kind of, and, he couldn't really see what was happening with his face, but I was directly across from him, so I could see exactly what he was saying. So I was telling that, story to Narda, and he says, "Girl, you need to write that." I said, "I can't write that because I'm a drummer. I don't need a drummer. I am a drummer." And he says, "Oh, but it's your story. It's something that happened to you. It's something that you can share with people." So then we just started putting that track together.
No, I got to say, just very, very quickly, because when I heard that track, Cindy, in like the first 10 seconds, I'm saying, "Prince, yeah!" That vibe came so strong through. Really, it was beautiful. And I had the chance to see Prince before we lost him, too. He was amazing. But the track, cool, right off that vibe, beautiful.
Carlos, as you said, this record is like it's so varied. It does have that sort of fairground kind of feel to it. We go from the celebrational to a sense of humanity, social responsibility in tracks like Evolution, Revolution, and Changes in Your Hands. Evolution, Revolution is Vernon and Kirk together.
And Kirk together, and Changes in Your Hands is all Vernon.
Right, exactly. So
all Vernon.
I wanted to bring you in on this, Vernon. And how was that for you?
Oh man, the whole process was great. I mean, I think when I came into the studio, the first track, Cindy was playing some tracks, and she played "We Came to Play," and I heard John on this track, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, you know what I mean? Because over the years of John's music with the Mahavishnu Orchestra and Shakti and all the different things, I mean, the cat has mastered 4 or 5 different types of guitar. I mean, it's completely wild to me. And even hearing him with Shakti and then hearing him with Paco de Lucia, he's playing completely different. He's playing completely differently. And hearing this particular track, I mean, he sounded different yet again to me. Like some of the phrasing. So I'd never heard John phrase it it was, so I knew that the whole level of the situation was pretty high. And
I was just keeping up with Cindy, man.
I know that's right. The bar. I walked into and I knew the bar was set very high. And like to play with Kirk, it's funny because part of the thing about playing with people and playing with guitar players, it's like personal simpatico. Like if you just dig a person, you're gonna be cool. Whatever else it is, it's gonna be cool. If you can like share a laugh or you compared notes on something, and it doesn't even have to be guitar related, you're just cool. So I was so happy when I knew that Kurt was going to be on the track. Because when I met Kurt, we were instantly cool. You know what I mean? And that counts for a lot. That counts for a lot. Sometimes, you know, if people are trying to occupy the same space at the same time, then there's going to be friction, or there's going to be weird whatever. You know what I mean? But if it's not like that, you know, and I think about all the great guitar players I know that I'm really close to, like Alex Skolnick from Testament. Like we were just instantly, we were all right away. You know what I mean? So it's just a beautiful thing to be a part of, you know.
Yeah,
and then I got to also play with my sensei Carlos, and you know that was just, and the way that happened, it was so organic, and it just kind of unfolded the way it was supposed to unfold. And that's the whole part of it that made it so wonderful. I mean, in my experience. And Cindy's just you know, like we just make each other laugh, you know. And, and because of that, you know, it's always a joy. It's always a joy. To hear her and to play with her, and also because of what she's just done as a musician in the space, you know, the way she's inspired people is just very powerful. Oh, and that's the other thing too. Like all these musicians are incredibly inspiring. You know, like hearing the Song of the Wind, hearing Caravanserai, hearing the Inner Mountain Flame, hearing the Dance of Maya, hearing the Noonwood Race, you know, like all of these things, you know, they just changed my life. I mean, I can honestly, I mean, I don't know, you know, it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy for me to be in this call with y'all. For me, it's crazy. It's crazy, Ted. Because I was a dude, you know, in my parents' house with my guitar on my knee, and I'm listening to this amazing music. And the universe is a curious, weird experience. It's a happening, you know. It's a weird happening, and I'm just incredibly grateful. And the other thing about it is all the fantastic players that influenced me, and I want to include local dudes, you know, like my man Arthur Rames, you know, who's very influenced by John McLaughlin.
Woo! Arthur Rames.
Arthur Rames, you know what I mean, and so many wonderful, like Ron, my brother Ronnie Drayton, who's no longer with us now. You know, the thing about it is the lesson is to be yourself. And a lot of people get it, and they go, I gotta play like my hero, and I go, and from the top I said, well, the thing you dig about them is that they're them. And I go through this all the time, talking to guitar people. I said, man, you know what? I know you hear the pull of an amazing player. You want to have some of what they got, but it's like that's them. That's them. And don't try to. And it's funny, like people are trying to fix their playing all the time. And I'm like, nah, just follow your interests. Be curious, but don't fix anything. Be yourself. You know, so it's just wonderful.
That's the key word. Be yourself. But I have to tell you, when I heard you and Kurt battling it out at the end of that tune, but it ended too soon, man. Go on.
Those two, man, you know, because Vernon, when Vernon took his solo, the whole band, when he finished that solo, the whole band at the end of the song, we went, whoa. Everybody was like this, you know. And the thing about the two of them playing together on that track is that as ferocious as they both are, they're both completely musical. So it worked. Like you can hear the play, you know, it's amazing how it worked. But yet it still has all the fire and all the passion and all the drive and all the everything that you would want. But it doesn't lack that melodic musical sense. And that's the key. That's what we need. And that's why I love all these people, because all these guys all have it. So I'm sitting here, like I told you, I'm gushing.
Finally, we close with this this beautiful Black Pearl. and it's just such a an evocative and atmospheric way to close an album.
It's beautiful. I'm gonna let Carlos speak because that's his song. He wrote that. But I just want to say, from my perspective, playing with and listening to that, okay, Carlos is so iconic in his playing, and deservedly so. It's not just a title that people give or that I'm giving or whatever. You can hear that in his incredible melodic sense, his mastery of the instrument, his fire, his energy, his ideas. He's just crazy. But what I loved about this in particular was that I could hear the love between these two guitar players, Vernon and Carlos. Because Vernon said to me, and he said it here today, he said, Cindy, Carlos is the reason that I picked up a guitar. He's the first reason that I picked up the instrument. And so you can hear that love, from Vernon to Carlos. You can hear that respect that Vernon has for Carlos. But then you can hear Carlos's love and respect for Vernon.
Totally.
So it's so beautiful the way that they both support each other, the way that they both play, the space that they allow, the different ideas that they come up with to accompany the soloist, like some of the stuff that Vernon came up with. And Vernon said, hey, Cindy, did you hear me going into reggae? I played some reggae on that. Did you hear that? And I was like, yeah, man, I heard it. It was perfect. And then Carlos came up with his things that he played. And then together, it's just such a beautiful statement, and all these people play in that way. I mean, obviously we've heard John and Carlos play together, and it's just with the same beauty and the same innovative passion and love, So when you get that, it's you've hit gold.
Well, yeah. Can I just say something about that track?
Yeah.
You guys got an atmosphere that reminded me of a Miles tune, or just the Miles atmosphere band. Was it Neil on piano? I mean, he was playing some chords and some really just
Neil.
But the right chords, and it's
Yes.
set up. I really had a feeling Miles was floating around the room when you recorded that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful atmosphere. And then you and Vernon too, Carlos. So nice. So nice.
Thank you. For me, the epicenter of multidimensional expansion was, I thought it was Haight Ashbury in the 60s with, mind-altering peyote and mescaline and LSD. We call it a consciousness revolution. But for me, it really, really started as slugs. After John played, and with Tony and Larry, they took a break. And then on the break, John somehow, he knew who I was, and he took me outside and we started talking. And the first thing that we talked about was, of course, Miles, Wayne, and Bill Evans. And then I realized, even back then, John, Vernon, myself, Cindy, all of us, we are an amalgamation of those that we love. Somehow we are able to retain our authenticity, our uniqueness, our individuality. But everybody that we love, and speaking about everybody that we love, is Sonny Sharrock. Because I want to use this moment, this instant, to invite John and Vernon to hopefully help me create a tribute album for Sonny Sharrock and play his songs. Just do a whole CD and invite other brothers, because I think that hearing Sonny Sharrock and John and Supernova, a Wayne Shorter album, to me is like, okay, 1 minute I'm with John Lee Hooker and B.B. King and Tito Puente, and next thing I know, bam, here's come John Coltrane and Miles and John McLaughlin and Tony Williams, and it made me realize that it was important to embrace that we are born and imbued with the gift to create miracles and blessings. We're able to invite the listener to become multidimensional instead of predictable and pathetic, wretched sinner. That I'm on a mission to dispel that lie about being a wretched anything, because we are all actually divine. you know, and this is when I joined with John. We both joined the teachings of Sri Chinmoy. And the more I learned being with John and Sri Chinmoy, the more I realized that so much of your consciousness goes into each note and what it does to people, especially on the radio, because people, you know, everybody's having a battle. Everybody's having a hard time with their own ego in the misery ditch. But when they hear music that uplifts you into a place that you're not dancing with ego, but soaring with your spirit, that to me is John, you know, and Vernon, and Sonny Chirac, and Cindy. So I want to create in the future a CD with Sonny Chirac, hopefully Pharoah Sanders as well, you know, because I think that it's important to honor this hero that didn't get as much attention as we get.
Well, I think you can invite anybody as long as you call it Guitar Madness.
Yes. Okay, Black Pearl. Black Pearl, I just thought of like Coltrane. Well, some kind of phrase that is like Coltrane and Miles or John, you know, because sometimes when you play a melody on the guitar that is kind of like the bass, you know, being with John and Vernon, you have to compliment. You know, you have to like compliment by really, really listening and just compliment. That's what a real artist do. You don't compete, you don't compare. This is not the Olympics. You know, you compliment. And for me to compliment with John or with Vernon, you know, I have to think like, okay, let's see, amalgamation, a little bit of Coltrane and Miles and Billie Holiday, you know, and that got me through it. Before if I think of those three spirits, my fingers know what to do, you know, and where to go, you know. So that's what I remember about Black Pearl. It's a beautiful mood, and I do hope that we do this in the future live. I invite Vernon and John, you know, for us to hopefully when they open the door, you know, we can we're supposed to play with Earth, Wind, and Fire, but we can do that too, you know. I want to do a tour with us, three multidimensional ministry guitar players, and elevate consciousness to a whole other level of joy, because that's what it's about at this point.
Absolutely. One thing about playing Black Pearl that I felt very strong was don't. It felt like just the mood of the piece
Exactly.
was so supreme, and it was so important to not alter the mood or take the mood into some place that didn't need to go. You know what I mean? Like, because the thing is, like, okay, time to kind of get the sustain in and get in and, you know, and in this piece, you know, I didn't do that at all because, and I took joy out from it because it felt this palette, where I am between Carlos and Neil is exactly where I need to be. And that's where I just stayed tonally kind of in this spot. And it was funny because these spaces would open up and then I would improvise and then fall back. And just the way it kind of, the stepping forward and falling back, it just felt so organic and so lovely and sustained for the whole piece. And I just felt really, I felt great that for the piece of music, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it's like, yo, what I'm doing. And it's it's like the music. A lot of times musicians, yo, it's time for me to do my thing. You know what I mean? It's to do my thing hour. So it's time for me to do my tapping, sweeping scenario. Time for me to break out my thing. And you know what? I recorded once with Garland Jeffries. And I recorded on this. He made a record called Don't Call Me Buckwheat. And I recorded on this piece because I was afraid of Malcolm. And so it's a really cool tune. And I was in the studio, and you know I got the riff, and I just started to go in, right, hoo ha, And all of a sudden, the machine stopped. Everything stopped. And Garland said, Vernon, everyone knows you can play guitar. It was perfect. It was perfect because I was just in some other inappropriate place. And what wound up happening was that I was still able to express myself, and I was able to play. It wasn't like a reduction, and he was very happy because it was put the tune first, put the music first. Everything else is going to take care of itself.
Yeah. I love that album. Hail, hail, rock and roll.
Oh my God, that tune is so great, right?
Yeah, that's a single again.
Guys, thank you so much for your time today or this evening, wherever you are in the world. It's been an absolute joy to spend time with you. Cindy, is there anything else that you'd like to say about the record before we leave?
I just want to make sure that everybody knows that I appreciate and thank each and every one of you and each and every one of the people on this record with my whole heart and my whole being, because like I said before, everybody put all of their love, attention, musicality, passion, and fire into this record, and I couldn't be happier. I'm just really glad that it's out. I appreciate that we're able to share music on a lot of different levels because we have creativity and passion, we have fun and we have messages, so I'm overjoyed and still gushing, and trust me, when we get off of this call, I'll be still smiling from ear to ear. I gotta go home and tell my mom.
Tell my mama.
I'm gonna tell my mama. That's how happy I am. I'm gonna tell my mom.
You know what? I'm going to as well.
I have one word for Cindy's album, Michael.
What's
And
that?
listen.
Woo!
That's it.
That's it.
Woo!
Beautiful,
Absolutely.
you guys.
Thank you, John.
Guys, thank you so much. It's an absolute joy. As I say, I've personally loved each and every one of you in various different guises for many, many years. I've grown up with your music. My kids listen to you guys now, and it's just been an honor and a privilege to spend time with you. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
I
for the
wish you
opportunity.
every success with upcoming projects, and thank you. You take care of each other.